Welcome to Free Space, where the best things on TV are free. I'm your host, Captain of the Spaceship, Aaron Perine. It is January 30th, 2026, and we've got some great free movies for you to watch, an animated series from a Super Bowl champion, and a social media star's uproarious new comedy streaming absolutely for free. So let's get into it. Here at Free Space, we want to know what you're excited to watch this weekend. Tell us about it at How to Watch Free TV, and we'll give you some recs, or maybe you'll get your comments featured on the show. We provide 3 free recommendations every week in our newsletter, howtowatchfree.tv for that. They come straight to your inbox. We've also got brand new merch in our store, designed by resident artist Mike Moody at free-space-shop.fourthwall.com. Now it's time for our Shooting Stars segment. Okay, Shooting Stars segment time. That's the biggest show or movie of this week. And we're taking a look at Hey AJ over on Disney Junior and on Disney Plus. But you know what we mean. The power of imagination is key for this week's Shooting Star segment pick. Hey AJ stars Amari McCoy as our title character, along with friend of the show, Martellus Bennett, and Janae Aiko as AJ's parents, Marty and Siggy. There are tons of other familiar faces on Hey AJ. And you can catch a couple of the episodes for free over on Disney Junior's YouTube channel. So go over there and check it out if you've got any young viewers or any of this sounds interesting to you. Let's lay out what the streamer says about Hey AJ. Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion Martellus Bennett's book about his family, Hey AJ, serves as the inspiration for this new animated series. It's a whimsical and fun-filled family comedy centering on one precocious young girl's unbridled imagination. AJ is on a quest to have every day turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. It's the kind of show where a long drive with mom and dad can turn into something even more magical, like a spaceship adventure, or a trip to the park into a daring superhero mission. It's very cute. The songs are very good. The animation is bright and colorful. Marty and the producers made sure that the world was filled with enough imagination that you could have endless possibility. Along with AJ's trusty bunny sidekick, Theo, the family go on a bunch of different adventures. All of them are themed like different film genres that you know and love. There's some real heart, and the little lessons that their family learns over time are very heartfelt. It's clear that Marty and all the people involved in Hey AJ did a lot of thinking about how we render a family on screen, what all of our families look like now, and how friendship is represented through these younger characters. And Marty is kind of like a Renaissance man. In addition to being a Super Bowl champion and a Pro Bowler, he's a published author, not just children's books. There's some grown-up books in there too. He also designs his own clothes. Learn so much, there's like nothing you can't do. I talked to Marty for that hashtag show and for us here at Free Space to get insight on how Hey AJ came to be, what their priorities were while making it, and how you speak to different generations when making content for a younger audience. Without further ado, this is Martellus Bennett, creator of Hey AJ, and I hope you enjoy. Good, Marty. How you doing? I'm glad to see you still in the cozy.
Yeah, I got this long. I have nose like it is cozy because the material I made it out of. So I make
Yeah.
most of my clothes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. When you 6'8", and it's kind of, but no one makes what I want to wear, so I just started making it myself over the last 40 years. So I built probably 80% of the clothes I wear I made.
Okay. I mean, that's what you got to do when they don't make the stuff you want. You're like, all right, I got it.
That's how AJ got here.
Right. It's great to be with you again and talk about Hey AJ on Disney Junior. We talked a little bit before, but I just wanted to ask a couple more questions about the series because really we're excited. My wife heard about our previous conversation and was delighted to hear that her comment about their house made the interview. And I'm like, of course it did.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I'm a man of great taste, so it's like, I'll tell them sometimes we'll do something in the show. I'm like, hey, look, I do think that's a good idea, but not for this. because it represents my family. I gotta live with this for a lifetime. Like that's literally like us. So like I want to make sure that I put my family in the right, the right situation so they can be fly all the
Mm.
time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I guess I could ask you that too, because it's like it's interesting. Your name's at the top of marquee. This is your project, this is your baby from the book itself through the other film to here on Disney Junior. How is it sort of managing and sort of understanding and like delegating tasks when it's your name attached to the final product?
Well, I think the best thing that I do is I always lead with the philosophy of why something is the way it is. So I'm a philosopher, like low key, like I love philosophy. So I don't really do anything without there being a reason why we should do it or why it exists. So once I started sharing the philosophy behind this or the identity of like there's a moment where we were designing teachers. The teachers came in and I was like, yo, the teacher needs to be a black man. And everybody was like, why are you so hard on the idea of it being a black man? It's the teacher. We could do everything. I was like, well, because only 1% of teachers in America are black men. Like I know these things. So it's like my whole thing is maybe if I introduce a great teacher in animation at this pre-K level, at this age, some kid may grow up or some parent may think of teaching is cool. So it's like, how do we plant these seeds? Because I think of television or books as planting seeds into the imagination of children and families all around the world. And now we plant these seeds. But the thing about tending to a garden is that we can't water it every day. The parent
Yeah.
has to water the seeds within the child in order for them to grow and bloom into the thing that it's going to be. But here are some ideas that are seeds in which you can take to your farm and you could plant them yourself. And the idea of coming back to AJ, every episode is a new seed that's being planted. So I
Mhm.
think about television in that way. I think of it as a young kid, like, what are we consuming? Like, what are we doing? And how are we consuming? So I take that back to the room. So there's no, that's why all the episodes have this heart to it. That's not just, nothing is just being done because, oh, this will be fun to do. Now once we get the through line, we make it fun because we put the fun in fundamental. But yeah, but and I call it edutainment. It's like, yeah, we could do education. Some things just have to be like they just have to exist. I just want things to be the world. Like there's things that's happening in the world that just exist in the community. It's not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
It's just the way that that's their family. That's their family. Like it's not in my business. Really, at the end of the day, it's like so I think of life from a perspective of my own reality. So I try to be honest to what I do know. I try to stay away from what I don't know and what I haven't experienced. So that's why a lot of the show feels real and feels tangible, even when the imaginative aspects. That was the hardest thing to delegate, like because I'm a black man, right? And
Mhm.
majority of the team may be white, right? Because in animation, there's just not a lot of black animators, and right, and
That's
then
true.
our writing room was actually mostly black. I had a token white guy in the writing room, really cool to do. But when you're working with these organizations and you don't really see yourself in every single room, and a lot of times everybody wants to see themselves in a work that they are working in. But what I try to do is like, don't think about the color of the character's skin, but think about their humanity. Can you see yourself in these characters as who they are as people, not by the color of their skin? And if you're doing that, now we're building a real show that's universal and the characters just happen to be black because we're dealing with their humanity of each individual in the show versus this idea of like let's make a black show. Like my imagination is black. Like I dream everybody's, you know,
Absolutely, yeah.
I just learned how to draw white people like 2 weeks ago. It's like when I make things, I think about fantastical blackness all the way. So it's like because that's what I grew up around. My household, the kids in my neighborhood. So I draw that first, and then
Yeah.
from there we can build out the world and do all those things as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big strengths of Hey Joe, right? Is that they're just like a family. That
Yes.
doesn't it's not underlined in any way. It's just like it's a family that any young viewer, any family could look at and be like, "We're like those people. We're also a family," right? And that's like a
Uh-huh.
real thing
Yes.
you guys are aiming for, right?
That's exactly what I want. I want this idea of when you see Marty is like, man, I wish he was my dad. No matter what, what I'm saying? Like, oh,
Yeah.
my dad does the same thing. And if you see
Mhm.
AJ, it's like, man, I wish I lived there. I wish I could be AJ's friend. Like, I would like to have a friend like AJ. So I think that's a huge thing because a lot of times you get into these things and people want to do something that's black or they think about this idea of representation. But I always say that I can't do representation. Representation can only be done by people who don't look like me,
Mm.
right? What I make is just a reflection of my reality, of my lived experiences. So it's like I'm doing a reflection, not representation. And I understand what I also try to get everyone to understand is the spectrum of blackness, right?
Yeah.
It's so being black and American is so dynamic. Like somebody from Oakland is way different from black people in Houston or in Brooklyn or Atlanta. I go to and I don't know what's being said. Then I catch on after a minute. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. You know what I'm saying? So this idea that blackness is vast, right?
Mhm.
It's wondrous and it's fantastical. The way we slam dominoes, the way that we toss spades, the way that we, turn and there's a lot of ingenuity, like even using your knees as a table for a plate. You know what I'm saying? Like all
Mhm.
things or the way the hair is done. So like all these little nuances of the black experience and the spectrum of blackness is something I talk about a lot in the meetings.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and really, you through media learn what is possible. Like it
Yes.
expands horizons for a young viewer and for us as adults too, because you don't realize that you can do something until you see somebody else do it. You're like, well, I'm not that much different than them. I can totally do that.
I 100% agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very important to me, right? What you just said right there is this idea of introducing possibilities, right? Like that's why AJ doesn't have one dream world. Why that's why she doesn't have one version of herself. Because she could be as many things as she can imagine. And we should let her do that because every kid is already doing it as well. My daughter did it every day. Like I one day she's an astronaut, and everything that AJ is exactly what my daughter represents. And what the family represents is exactly what my family represents as a unit. So, but I do believe in this idea of introducing these possibilities. And that's why when I was developing the household with the dad, like the idea is like, hey, the dad being home and mom is now leaving and starting following her dreams because dad retired from the sports. So that's kind of my real life, right? Like I retired from the sports and my first idea was I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad. But then I realized that was way harder than you imagine. I'm gonna stay home sometime. I will stay home sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get
Yeah.
it. Like, hey, you've been holding it down. Not that I never not appreciated it, but like, damn, this a full time job. What
It
you on
really
the
is.
payroll? You know what I'm saying? Like, I take care of the life. I'd rather go to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but and this idea of what is it to be a black father? The images of black fathers or black fatherhood. I was. My dad was me and my dad are a lot alike in this very playful, very loud, funny. So, like, when I was thinking about the dad, I'm not only representing myself as a dad, but I'm representing my dad as a dad, my brother as a dad,
Yeah.
and the men that I know to be good fathers. So, I can't be friends with somebody that's not a good dad. It's not just, I just tell my wife all the time how I found out. She's like, why you don't talk to him? I found out he was a deadbeat. It's just bad for the brand.
Appreciate
Walk
it.
around with 10 bad dads, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but the idea of like when I think of the image, I think about, you know, and I have no anti-blackness, I have no anti-blackness in me. Like I love being black. Like I love everything about being black. I love black people. So I'm very kind to blackness when I'm drawing it or when I'm writing about it, because I believe that, a lot of times people aren't as kind to their blackness because they've been taught that their blackness is not what it is, or like they'll really
It's not
realize
desirable.
are very desirable. Man, I love it so much. I can't imagine being anything else but black. I love being black. I love that. Don't take away from anybody else being. They should love what they are too. But like I see little when I go out and I work or I'm in a school, I go to a lot of schools, and every time I see a young black boy, I see myself. I look at a young black kid and then see a part of myself in them. Now, sometimes it'd be the part of yourself that you don't want to see. It's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But like at the same time, it's like, all right, cool. Like I can help cultivate this. But as I became a father, I know girls better. So I don't really write boy characters at all. Like I very rarely write boy characters because my daughter is my biggest muse, right? Like, so
Mhm.
I try to make worlds for her to see herself and to empower her throughout this journey, because that's my first responsibility, like to empower my child. And then if I can empower other children along the way, then great job, as far as like impacting the world.
Absolutely. I was gonna ask about that with like, this is like, a story from like
a young girl's perspective, and a huge part of that as the voice actor who brings AJ to life. And you told me some funny stories yesterday about learning voice acting, learning the ropes from her, from a tenured voice actor. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, man. Amari, I'll come in there and Amari be doing the voice acting, and it'll be like, wait, she is so good, right? You know, you go now, start to say like, she started giving me all these tips, and I was like, Marty, how's she's like, you know, like whatever. So really, she was the person for me that really drove me to be a better voice actor. Was working alongside her because she knew exactly what she's doing. She like even how she would highlight her notes and things like that. I would look at her scripts when she would come in, and she would tell me about how she would practice and all those things. So I learned a lot from her, which is so funny because in real life in the show, AJ Dad learned so much from AJ. So it was like that in the recording studio at the same time. But like what I really loved about the kids when I'm in there and I'm listening to them is just like how great they could read. And I always think about children reading. I mean, that's why I start with children's books. And I always would lean on children before books before television personally, because I think it does something different from developing the mind and imagination of reading a book. Because every children's book is a kid's first art gallery, right? That's your first time
Mhm.
seeing images, first time seeing art,
Uh-huh.
first time seeing pictures. And what do you see in these pictures? Because if you go to a museum, you're not going to see yourself in a museum as a young Black kid, not at least the way, you know, that you want to be painted. But if you open up my children's books or these stories, then you see yourself in these really whimsical worlds in this very colorful world. And I wanted that same thing to cross over for the show. But when Amari was reading and stuff, and Juliet too, all of them, like I'll just watch him. It was like playing football again. Cause like one thing I'm really good at is this, I guess I just would call it biomimicry, but in real life, like, you know, just like being able to see something and be able to
Mhm.
mimic it right away.
Yes. Okay.
And so that was one thing I would see how they do their lines, and you'd be like, okay, cool. Hey man, I want to come back tomorrow and re-record everything I did today. And so I had moments like that, and I would come back bigger and better because I would just be watching them and learning. So and I think they were surprised by how fast I got better at doing the thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, listen, your job was film study for a long time. Like, it's the muscles already trained.
Running your feet, you just running your mouth.
Man, it's really true. It's like as a person who runs their mouth as their job, absolutely agree. I wanted to ask about the importance of music in Hey AJ as well, because you talked about like culture and appreciation of culture, and we're all over the map during Hey AJ. There's different genres, there's different performance styles, there's different performers doing these songs. What I know it's like a Disney like thing of like, oh yes, we're going to do songs, but what about the music contribution to Hey AJ did you really enjoy in the process of making
So
the show?
yeah, I think that Swampy and Michael Hodges were like they're both of musical backgrounds. And I make a lot of music with friends. Like I love music. I was just saying, like, my Spotify age was 72, and I was like, "Dang," you know,
I
I
was
like
73.
dang, so we probably like some of the same, time time
Probably.
period. And so that's when the good music was good all the time. What we were doing when we was creating the show, the thing that we agreed upon very early on with the music was we weren't gonna make black like the idea of what black music is, right? Yeah, like quote unquote, like, oh, this is gonna sound black. You hear it sometimes on television shows. Like, I don't want something to try to sound black. It is black because black people are part of it. Like if you
Mm,
do it, then it's black. And that's part of the spectrum. So in the spectrum of blackness, I wanted to make sure that we were hitting all these spectrums of music that black people have contributed to make these sounds. And Michael Hodges is a fabulous songwriter. They brought in a lot of music makers like Megan Trainor's on the show, Janae
true.
Aiko's on the show. The kids could sing. I mean, they did have me rapping on the episode, and I was just like, "Yo, y'all got me rapping like Run DMC, but it's cool." And I was like, "Okay, I like next time call me for the rap part." Um, the idea was like to make music that you would wanna listen to. A lot of times when kids like, I don't like musicals, like, when I go to the movies, like, I didn't go see Wicked, like, my wife
Okay.
daughter did because I don't really I like theater musicals, but I don't like musicals on television.
Okay.
So, if I go to the theater, I could watch, the musicals on stage, but I won't go to the theater and watch a musical. So, like, I'm very skeptical about music in animated things in the first place because it's like, yo, if we're gonna do music, it needs to be good. And let's not do music to do music, like to check off some boxes. But Swamp And Michael Hodges was really dedicated to making really wonderful songs that kids will love. That also was a way to music is a way to write like every like you talk about a lot of the stuff we learn as kids from your ABC. If we put it in song form, we're able to memorize it a little bit better. That was a part of the educational side, but also just to be jamming. I just wanted something to be like, yo, if I put on that album or that mixtape, the Hey AJ mixtape, and it's like, yo, I like all these things. They be jamming all the time. So that was pretty much how we got through the music. That was a lot of the guys. When I said in the music stuff, I would just be like, I don't know about this one. So I got to be like a tastemaker in the room with the music. But there was like some little like even sound design. There was some stuff I like to do with sound design. Like when she's a detective, I wanted to turn it into a game. So when she found stuff, it had a lot of the same sound effects that you would get in a video game. So I think about stuff like on that level of sound design, others. So, but we did a great job with the music. I love it. Like there's not a song that I hate. So
Yeah, I mean, there's really we were laughing with Michael before about like the BFF song sounds like I could get in my car, turn the key, and that would be on the radio. Like, not like it's it from a show. I'm like, yeah, that actually sounds like a radio top 40 song. Like that's really wild.
when I heard that song, I was like, this a hit.
Yo, it's a bop. That was it was really, really funny. Video games come up like a lot in the first couple episodes. Now that you said that about like the film noir adventure with AJ and Marty, now I'm gonna go back and rewatch it and listen to it again because I'm like, there was a little bit of da-dong when you found something important,
Yeah.
and then the superhero adventure with all of them where Marty has a little bit of FOMO. It feels very role-playing game-esque. So, that sort of space of play, was that like a big inspiration for you too?
Yeah, so it's something like when we get the second season, there's like
Yeah, we go.
stuff that I wanna some of the stuff I there's some of the things I want to push even further as far as just the design language and the visual language of AJ, like because they are at play, and then it's like these if we could add the sounds of play, because what are the sounds of play, right? You'll start thinking about the video game as the sound of play as far as digital sound goes. So how can we integrate this into her mindset? If I'm a kid and I'm playing and I find something, it is a da-da-da-da, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's the most thing, that's what you can do. So it's like, let's kind of weave those things in. So that's something that we're really working on to build off that sound pack as well. And as we build more of the show, I like those little details that make it atmospheric with the energy that what they're feeling in the room at the time. So we could have her say, I got it. Or you could just do the sound and everybody it piques your interest too. So I want to do words on screens as well, but they say a lot of kids it makes sense that a lot of kids can't read yet. But I like that when AJ used a big word, that big word to be come across the screen. Yeah. I like to do that kind of stuff too, but maybe next season. And I wanted to mix in some anime vibes, like have her have an anime world where she's jumping into the world and it's all anime, like those types of things. So
Mhm.
I wanted to be a clash of cultures and interests. So it's just like, wow, it looks like a sketchbook. Like, I draw in all these different styles when I do my sketchbooks. And it just makes it because now you have a favorite version of AJ, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I love film noir. So we could do a whole season where it's just her in the film noir. Like a movie could be the film noir movie, or you could do the superhero movie, all those types of things. I think about those things in the long run. But yeah, it's cool. I love the music. I love all the sounds. I love the sound design. I love the kids singing. And I was listening to Pink Floyd the other day, and it was like another brick when he was talking about education system, another brick in the wall too. And it was like the kids were singing on there. So I want to do more of that stuff, and I'm hoping that maybe it even have like they go to church and do like a gospel
Choir.
praise dance, and on the episode would be crazy.
That's been a huge thing on, social. If I've heard a gajillion different versions of somebody running a popular song through a gospel choir, edit, I have the last week. You actually kinda got a little bit ahead of where I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask you what other adventures you would like for her to go on in season 2. Do you have any other favorites that you didn't just mention to me that you would like to see AJ and her family do? The anime world,
I think
sketch world?
the anime world is probably my biggest. Like if Theo turns into more of a Pokemon-like character, like if like kind of really blending that world into the AJ, that's probably like my biggest thing out of all of them. Like what's her anime character? And just because I really like I would like to use emoticons and all this visual language on screen that almost blends in technology. Like a lot of kids are spending time on apps and things like that. So if we can have little pop-up bubbles of like her emoticon expressions or her head getting big and things like that. So I want to incorporate like the world that ties in where they are today and where they could be tomorrow, with AJ being like representing this idea of Black American futurism as well. Like I want her to be the kid from the future that's bringing stuff back to the block at the same time. So that's something I really would like to explore with her a bit. And then also probably more in nature, like just learning about nature and being with animals in nature. A zookeeper version of AJ would be something that's really cool to see. Like, because I love animals. I like learning about the world through animals. And I think we could teach a lot of lessons just through the ecosystem of like, if they grow a family garden, like if we do a family garden in the backyard and just the idea of planting seeds, growing things and eating the things that you grow, not in a way of like, but make it cool. You know what I'm saying? Like Honey Shrunk the Kids, right? Where they are in the
Yeah.
garden or dead and AJ are like shrunk and all the characters are too big for them. Like I like that type of things. I need to
Oh,
write these down so that
well, make sure you get a copy so
yeah.
you can bring it back and be like, "This, make this thing." When you talk about futurism, because my other job, I talk about is superheroes and superhero media. I'm like, yo, we're under the Disney umbrella. Like a Black Panther pastiche would not be turned down by a lot of
Yeah.
us out there. We love it. What if for a younger viewer that might just be you getting into their favorite shows or having a favorite that I watch with mom and dad for AJ in that sort of lineup? Maybe they're watching Spidey and My Amazing Friends, or maybe they're watching Strugo or something on Disney Plus. What would you want them to take with them into the rest of their life? Because there's a lot of really fun moments. Like they're always having fun, they're always at play. AJ's always learning about the world, but there are some really good core learning moments for her throughout the
Yeah.
episodes I've seen. Can you talk about how you like balance that? Because you always say like you don't want it to be too like prescriptive or like preaching to
Yeah.
you, but it's important that we're learning something and having fun at the same time because they're not actually they're different.
Yeah. Well, I would say that for me, I would say that what I would want them to take away is not necessarily on the I think it will be the mom, dad, recognizing, watching this show together. Like, that's what I think the takeaway is. Like, oh man, we
Oh,
the show together and if they see AJ do something, trying those things in real life together, like trying to make a lava cake or trying to like, I would love to put out like on a website of being like, here's the lava cake recipe so that you can try it at home. I think that
yeah.
participating, so that way they're participating in the show in their own way. They could do what AJ's doing. You don't have to watch AJ do it on television. You could also do it at home with your family. So if we can do things where we have like the recipe, or if AJ's making a song, like if we could release a beat and like kids could make their own songs, I think the takeaway for me and the entire thing is the experience of togetherness, watching a show. If we're drawing, if AJ's drawing, do we get on the floor and draw with the kids while they're drawing? That's what I'm really hoping that the takeaway is not so much necessarily watching the show, which I do want people to watch the show, but I want the show to inspire them to go make something of their own and to imagine something of their own, like build their own fort, build their own spaceships out of cardboard, go build your own, go find your own stuffed rabbit and give it a voice and make fun of it. Go do your own scavenger hunt in your own house. I want the house to inspire, the show to inspire recess in your own home. Right? We don't have to go, like this is a play area. What can we play here? Like, let's sleep on the floor together as a family and build this hut. Right? That's what I want the takeaway to be, is the way that the family lives their life would be the biggest thing for me, as if from the experience of making a show.
That is really, really good. That'd be important. I think that the sort of programming, here's how you make the lava cake. Here, go find skates, and go skating together. Those
Yeah.
things are all really like core and interesting, and they'll build memories for you outside of this screen,
That's
you know?
exactly what I want to do. I want to introduce possibilities, and then you take those possibilities and make them a reality. Imagine if we did a Hey AJ skate-a-thon, right? Where you could come in and now you can just skate, and we have a AJ, not AJ on ice, but AJ on rollerblades. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I just have to send you the entire interview. I'm like, I'm giving you he's getting all these ideas. He needs somewhere to
this
collect
is
them
what I want to
all.
meet. This is what they pay me to do in the meetings. People are like, what do you do? I'm like, oh man, I just the idea, man. I go in there and they ask me questions and I just start feeding them all this. I just feed them my imagination and they see what sprouts out of there.
Absolutely. Well, you've introduced the world of possibility, Marty. You should be proud, man. I really am enjoying this. And I told a couple of my friends who are couples with young children, I'm like, hey, when this comes out, we need to support my man because this is really important. It feels really big to me in a time where, possibility feels limited. This is something that expands it.
Yeah, and I think that's a really beautiful thing about the timing. I feel like I'm a futurist myself, and I feel like sometimes I'm a little bit too far ahead. But this is one of my first times in life where I feel like I'm right on time.
Absolutely. And not a moment too soon.
14th is a perfect time.
We're perfect time. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Hey AJ on Disney Junior and Disney Plus. Marty, thank you so much. I appreciate you, man.
Oh man, I appreciate you, man. This was really cool. I mean, I like talking to you. I
Thank
feel like we would be friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Thank you so much to Marty for lending us some time. I really appreciate it. Hey, AJ is an absolute delight if you've got younger viewers in the house, or if you're like me and you've got a bunch of people around you who are about to have children and they're looking for good entertainment for their prospective growing families. Yeah, the episodes are over on YouTube right now, at least episode 1 and I think another 2. And of course, with the changing landscape of streaming, who knows? But if you've got a Disney Plus subscription, and if you have kids, you probably do, because goodness gracious, streaming Moana. Hey, AJ's available now and on Disney Junior if you got cable from however you get it. And with that, let's take you over to our warp speed round. Warp speed round in full effect. That's right. 3 different picks that we found from across the landscape of free streaming that would be a great addition to your weekend. So, without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we've got Death Name over on Tubi. Man, this is a very atmospheric one. You could not have a more different movie. Talk about tonal whiplash. Death Name is completely different than our shooting star pick, but very good. It's over on Tubi, streaming for free. When a young woman tries to learn more about her heritage, things start to go awry. She gets more than she bargained for, and it's going to be very hard to escape alive. Amy Kim, Kevin Wu, Vanna Kim, Eliza Shim, and Joseph Lim Kim all star in this new horror project over on Tubi. It debuted last month, but we're getting to it right now. Director Ray Tallis and cinematographer Greg Hudgens deserve a pat on the back for this one. When you've got a smaller budget to be working with, making a horror entry that feels stylish and atmospheric can be kind of a challenge. And the twists around Korean folklore will make this one stand out for you. Death Name plays on my obsession from last summer in that you probably shouldn't trust a handsome man in a wide hat. Death Name streaming over on Tubi for absolutely free. Next up, we've got The Thomas Crown Affair. That's on Pluto TV, Roku channel, and Tubi. That's from 1999. Pierce Brosnan is a billionaire looking for a new challenge. What follows is a cat and mouse game with Rene Rousseau as a priceless artwork has gone missing. The reason I put this on the list is that Michael B. Jordan, fresh off The Sinners, is remaking / rebooting this property. I'm curious as to what it'll look like, but it made me check out the older version on free streaming. And it holds up. I have a soft spot for Pierce Brosnan. I'm a child of the decade where he's making all those action movies. A lot of those are available on free streaming as well. So no qualms here. The original has plenty of life. It's beautifully rendered on screen. If you're a fan of that like late 90s aesthetic that populates social media everywhere now, give it a look. That's The Thomas Crown Affair. That's available on Roku channel, Pluto TV, and Tubi. Our third Warp Speed Round pick is from PBS, as I try to carve out a space in every episode for something from PBS. And this week, it's Artworks. Cole Peace Johnson's art is layered and textured and infinitely interesting. So when I heard host Wendell Patrick was going to sit down and discuss the artist's process, I knew I had to check it out. I'm a sucker for these kinds of shows. If you love something like How It's Made or Abstract over on Netflix, a personal favorite when, we're riding high instead of free streaming. I just love seeing what makes things tick. Nicely shot, inquisitive, and also not the most taxing view in some ways, You can just sit down and kind of relax, look at the artwork and say, wow, and talk to someone else in your household, possibly, or on Discord or whatever, about the art that you're seeing. And it's a great way to introduce people to other artists. That's Artworks over on PBS. No passport necessary, but if you're going to spend $5, it's not a bad place to put it. Supernova Pick Time. This is our new release segment on Free Space. And this week, we got something that'll make you laugh. Terry Jo, missionary in Miami. You know her? You love her. You've probably seen her around. Terry Jo is taking her talents to South Beach in this uproarious new comedy. Have you been on social media in the past 5 years or so? Then you've seen Terry Jo. Psychonic has terrorized TikTok and beyond for about that time frame. Terry Jo is a Southern Baptist missionary out to spread the good word, or is she? She's mostly here to make us laugh. It's very silly. It doesn't take itself very seriously. The laughs are just very preposterous. This is under Tubi's Studios imprint, working with Issa Rae, of course, to bring different social media creators a chance to make their projects on a bigger screen for a bigger audience. And this is the latest release for that. I mean, Terry Jo has a devoted, huge fan base online. I have laughed at the clips occasionally. They're unhinged. So if that sounds like a good time and you just like a little comedy, it doesn't have to be the deepest movie in the world. That's Terry Jo, Missionary in Miami, streaming on Tubi, new for this weekend, out today. Another episode of Free Space in the books. Where does the time go? All right, thanks again to Martellus Bennett for beaming up to the spaceship for this week's episode of Free Space. Hey AJ is streaming now on Disney Plus and airing on Disney Junior, and you can get those episodes for free on the YouTube channel. You can find us at How to Watch Free TV on most platforms. That's Instagram, that's the shell of TikTok, that is Threads. Did I forget anything? Oh, it's at Free Space Pod on Facebook. We update that regularly. If you'd like to get in on the newsletter for 3 free recommendations every week, that's howtowatchfree.tv. If you're listening to this in podcast form, throw us a review, give us 5 stars, tell us what you like, tell us what we can work on. We'll feature your 5-star review on the show. And now that we're on YouTube, that's right, we're on YouTube, you can watch this. You can see me and Marty talking with each other, and me and my guests, and the Free Space set, which is out here in the confines of the lower atmosphere. What's not to like? You give us a thumbs up. It really helps us in the algorithm, and subscribe so you get the brand new videos whenever they come out. Our store is at free-space-shop.fourthwall.com if you'd like to get a mug, a t-shirt, a sticker, a button, a ferret at some point. Probably not. I don't know if that's above the board. Next week, we've got a free streaming new release. Free Space might be headed to a red carpet. I'll let you guys know more about that in the upcoming week. So keep your eyes peeled, subscribe, and you'll be the first to find out. Big ups to my friends over Phase Hero, Brandon Davis, at Brandon Davis BD, Jenna Anderson, at Go Read Some Comics on YouTube. Delightful channel. Jenna does great work. And Jamie Drack at Jamie Drack Reviews. Love Jamie Rants. She's been doing great stuff over there as well. We took a trip over to Tinseltown to talk about Wonder Man this week. So that was really fun if you want other geek stuff. If you're not tired of the sound of my voice already, you can find that at the Brandon Davis YouTube channel. Free Space is produced by me, Aaron Perine. Our social media is by Ebony McCrae. Our merch is designed by Mike Moody. The Free Space free streaming TV guide is designed by Jack Grimes and printed here at Rizzo Studio Arts here in Los Angeles. Hello, June. Our theme music is composed by Autumn Reed. Our graphics are made by Izzy O'Connell. Did I forget anything? I hope not. Goodness gracious. This has been Free Space. I'm Aaron Perine, Until we blast off again, remember, the best things on TV are free. Enjoy your free time. We'll catch you later.